Hi, my name is Megan Mason, and this is my case study for EDL 854. A summary of the case study is we are centered at Bridledale Elementary School with Mr. Santos, who's the principal, and his job is to make sure the budget covers the basic skills for curriculum. If the school is wanting more than the fine arts and the foreign language, this is where the Bridledale Foundation comes in, and the newly elected president is Mr. Barley. And he is an alumni of Harvard, which I believe is one of a big motivator of his election as the president. And he is wanting to innovate curriculum that enhances the students' ability for outside the classroom. And in order to get these funds, he's wanting to have a raffle drawing that is a raffle to cash prize. After this occurred, someone tipped off the sheriff's department where they came in and arrested Mr. Barley and booked him. Yes, he was released. However, he was convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation. So legal and ethical issues that are occurring right now are Mr. Barley, of course, he was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor. Mr. Santos, his reputation has been hurt, and the Briardale Foundation had a not so great article posted on the front page of the newspaper. And I'm sure the superintendent is facing many questions why he wasn't involved. As I was looking into laws that could have been broken, the one that I found on the Kansas Revenue page was that only nonprofit organizations that conduct charitable raffles for which the annual gross receipts of a nonprofit organization exceeds $25,000. So even though the case study doesn't mention how much was raised, it did mention that a former member on the foundation said that when they did this fundraiser in college, they raised over $100,000. So I'm guessing they also raised a large amount of money, and of course that's their goal. So that was why I tied in that law that could have been broken. On the positive side, there was no contracts that were breached. So to summarize the case in one sentence, Mr. Barley, the president of the Briardale Foundation, was arrested for hosting a raffle for cash to raise funds for Briardale Elementary curriculum. So the quick facts are the people involved are Mr. Barley, the president of Briardale Foundation, Mr. Santos, the principal of Briardale Elementary, the sheriff was involved, and the Briardale Foundation was involved in hosting the fundraiser, and all the participants, of course, who participated in the fundraiser are involved. The place is Briardale Elementary School. This school serves as a town community meeting center, and this is where that fundraiser took place. There are 600 students that attend that school, and it is a diverse community. The program outline is it is a kindergarten through 5th grade school. It is one of 6 elementary schools in the district, and the district also has 2 middle schools and a high school. So to review and prioritize the case study, one of the categories is the damages to the stakeholders that are involved. The Briardale, unfortunately, their programs are in jeopardy because they have no funds anymore for those curriculum skills that they get from the Briardale Foundation. The reputation of the school and the district in general is hurt because now you're looked at the school that breaks laws, where they try to get away with things and there's no consequences. And it does affect all the other schools in the district. Possible jobs are on the line. Mr. Barley, he could be asked to leave the foundation. Mr. Santos could be told he is no longer coming back either. Individuals and groups that are have very important stakes in the outcome of this case study are, number one, the students. It's their education that's on the line. It's the funds that they're trying to get for different curriculums to give students. Mr. Barley and Mr. Santos, like I stated, both of their outcomes are questionable because they can both lose their positions at the Briardale Elementary. Looking through the case study, I don't believe all the stakeholders were consulted. There's no word about the superintendent or any of the board members. There was no word about um, any of the decisions being made, just that some fundraiser was approved. So this is why I believe there's not enough information, and I would like to see some more, especially when it comes to the laws and policies of Briardale. What do they have set? What are the regulations? I would like to know if they knew this was going to be a bigger fundraiser. Why is the principal just the only one that approves it? I believe that the superintendent, the school board should all be involved, but it doesn't say that. So going into the options that are involved, option 1, where you could do nothing. Option 2, Mr. Barley and Mr. Santos resigns their positions. And option 3, Mr. Barley and Mr. Santos are required training and being supervised for here on out, and that all the funds that were raised are now withheld. So if I was to assume the role as Mr. Santos and looking at all 3 of these options, the best option I believe would be going into looking more at what are my pros and cons. So option 1, doing nothing. The pro is, yeah, it's quick and easy. I don't really have to do anything. But the cons, I don't set any accountability for the actions that were made. Option 2, if Mr. Barley and I resign, even though this is something I wouldn't want to do, the pros are the accountability and that we are made an example of making the wrong decisions. And hopefully we're regaining the reputation of ourselves and our school. The cons is having to replace the president of the foundation and a principal. Option 3, if we are both required training and being supervised, that means that we are being held accountable. We are showing good leadership by admitting our mistakes and taking action on being better, because I'm assuming that neither of us knew about these laws or regulations. And if we hold all the funds being raised and give it back, we're helping building our relationship with our community members. And this is just overall ethical choice. The cons is it's very time consuming. Won't happen overnight. It's gonna take a while, and we're gonna have to rebuild what we gained. And as I look at this, the best option would be option 3. I believe that because this is, I'm assuming, our first mistake, I would want to take the responsibility and make sure Mr. Barley understands he has to take the responsibility also. I would want to be very transparent with the community and what occurred and what the steps moving forward would be. I would want to be willing to learn from the mistakes, understand that I need to know all the laws and regulations, and that could be meeting with my attorney to figure that out. I need to involve my superintendent on these projects, especially from here on out, being supervised, making sure that all my I's and T's are crossed and dotted. Require training, again, to make sure I understand how fundraisers work, what's okay, what is not. Review any of our board policies and update them if they need updated. And then again, like I said, return all the funds to the participants. So in order to implement option 3, number 1, I need to meet with my superintendent. I need to figure out where we need to go from here, if he is allowing me to stay, and build a plan of us coming together to get the proper training, proper steps to regain our reputation and show the community that I'm worth being there as a principal. Step 2 is to meet with the Briardale Foundation board members and tell them that they also need to be in part of that training and what is okay and what is not for fundraisers and what the next step is. They can decide whether or not to appoint a new president. I can make my recommendation of I think he learns his lesson. If he does all these XYZ steps for us, he will be okay. Step 3, communicate with the community due to the negative press. We have to regain the community support because they're going to obviously look at the administration and wonder why did they let this happen. And I would want to work with my superintendent to make a statement on giving them a good, transparent outline of what is going to happen and how we are taking care of this and showing them that we won't tolerate this mistake. Step number 4, invest proper time into training my staff members about fundraisers, and this again, including that foundation or anybody that fundraises, and review the policies and procedures and make sure that they are in line with the laws of the state. And then step 5, return all the funds that are raised, like I stated earlier. So as I reflect on this case study allowed me to assume the role of a principal who did not follow the laws and regulations when it comes to fundraising. It allowed me to look at possible options that could be taken, and by digging into them, find the best route to take that will benefit most of all the stakeholders. It also showed me that people who are involved in fundraising need to understand the laws and regulations that go along with them, so in a case such as this doesn't occur. And that is my case study. Thank you.